McQuaid has just stepped out of that hearing with Richard Allen, and if his probable cause will be unsealed. Russ, please tell us what you know at this point. What happened in that courtroom?
Well, good morning. It was a hearing before Judge Fran Gall out of Allen County, the special judge assigned to hear this case. It lasted just a half hour. We left the courtroom just minutes ago. Richard Allen was brought into the courtroom. He was in a yellow jail jumpsuit. He was heavily trussed up with chains covered over a Kevlar jacket. He was brought into the courtroom. His family sat right in front of me in the courtroom. He did make eye contact with them. The prosecutor for Carroll County, Nicholas McClellan, stood and requested that the judge continue the sealed probable cause that was filed on October 28th during a behind closed doors initial hearing. McClellan argued in front of the judge that he used words chaos. He pointed to the courtroom, the abundance of the media there, and also the security there, and said this is the reason why we need to secure and keep this probable cause secret. He said two reasons. One, because we fear that witnesses in the case will be harassed by the media or be put in danger. But most significantly, he said, we believe Richard Allen is not the only person involved in this case. He continued to make his argument with the judge. Then it was the opportunity of the defense attorney, Bradley Rossi, who defends Richard Allen. And he was able to argue counter to that. He says, we have actually seen that unredacted probable cause. We don't think that there is absolutely anything in there that shows not only to the guilt of our client, but also he indicated that we have seen no evidence that there is any sort of danger to any member of the public. Nobody has said, come forward and said, I'm being harassed unfairly, in danger to the public. And he also said, I see no indication that there's any other involvement in this case. The judge has determined, upon taking all that information in, that she has set a hearing for mid-February when this issue, not only the bail issue will be brought up, because his defense attorneys yesterday filed that he be released on bail. The judge says she will hear arguments on February 17th about whether or not to release Richard Allen on bail. However, regarding whether or not to release the redacted or unredacted probable cause, the judge has received a redacted version from the prosecutor with names of witnesses blacked out. She says, I will take this under consideration. I will then give you a written advisement on my opinion of this at this time. We are not going to receive that probable cause today. The judge has instead received it from the prosecutor with names blacked out. She will take a look at that to determine if that is a reasonable way to undergo and keep the public fully informed as to the details of this case. One of the arguments that the defense made said, we have seen nothing but press conferences for 5 years from investigators from the state police asking people to tune in, asking people to come forward with tips, and now that we've got charges against my client, against Richard Allen in this case, all of a sudden the prosecutor wants to shut down all public input into this investigation. And the hearing, as I said, lasted just a half hour. Richard Allen was taken out of the courtroom, and then the rest of us were released from that courtroom.
Russ, I wanted you to catch your breath for a minute, and I want to just make sure that I heard you correctly, because this is the one thing that people have been waiting to hear for a very long time. I understand you to say that one of the reasons the prosecutor wants this to be sealed is that they believe that Richard Allen is not the only person involved. Can you clarify that and then dig deeper a little bit in that?
It was a brief statement from the prosecutor because, frankly, he spent most of his time being concerned about the media coverage. That involved most of his argument. However, he did say that we believe Richard Allen is not the only person involved in this case. And that was one of the two justifications he used to say the investigation continues. We cannot jeopardize the continuing investigation by releasing the probable cause at this point in time with some of the information that would be revealed and therefore would hamper the investigation. Now, he issued 4 exhibits that he used to support his position that the probable cause remains sealed. 2 of them were from investigators who said, because of all the work we've done on this, we believe there is sensitive information here. We don't want this released to the public. Another one is a letter from Becky Patty. Of course, she is Libby German's grandmother. Said she didn't want that information out. And also, the attorney referenced an online petition, which he said the prosecutor said there was an online petition which had gathered 40,000 signatures, which showed there was widespread support for continuing the seal on this probable cause.
We're just watching some live video of the van that brought Richard Allen to the courthouse, just leaving the courthouse right now. How long do you expect the judge in this case to look over that redacted probable cause and release it?
The judge took the redacted probable cause in hand during the briefing, during the hearing this morning. She said she was going to issue a written advisement on it. She said she was not entering it as an exhibit, so it would not become necessarily part of the public file, but rather taking it under advisement for her review privately. If this is Tuesday, conceivably, she could decide within 24 hours. We do have a holiday week this week. She may want to get this off her desk before the holiday, which then goes Thursday and Friday. And of course, there would be no court opportunities to take a look at that. She could do it that quickly. And it was interesting that the prosecutor came to court prepared with that instead of being directed by the judge to provide a redacted copy. He came to court with that redacted copy, giving everyone an idea that he had an idea of what would have been required to release that information and to get the judge's approval.
That's a couple more questions here. I wanted to go back over who was in the courtroom. Again, was any family member of Richard Allen? I think you briefly touched on that off the top, but I wanted to hear a little bit more specifics about that, specifically his daughter or his wife.
Well, there were 2 older women who were sitting right in front of me in the courtroom that were shown to special seats, secluded, set aside for them. I would say there were at least a couple dozen members of the victims' families. The rest of the courtroom was filled out basically by the media. It was also ringed by easily 10 to a dozen police officers, including state troopers and Carroll County Sheriff's deputies, and an attorney representing Indianapolis News Media was also on hand. He filed a brief yesterday indicating that it would be appropriate to release this information publicly. However, while his brief was accepted, he was not called upon to offer any argument or testimony before the judge.
Okay, we had a producer in our ear right there. I apologize, but did you say that they did not get to hear from the attorney from the other side on why it should be released?
The judge did not hear from the attorney representing the Indianapolis News Media.
Yes.
Instead, there was a brief filed, but he did not, was not offered an opportunity to testify or offer an argument, and we are hoping to interview attorney Dan Byron outside the courthouse here this morning.
All right, Russ McQuaid live for us outside
Excellent.
the Carroll County Courthouse, just stepping outside of the courtroom. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Thank you.